Wait, what do you mean the funds are gone? I stared at my online banking app, the number on the screen blinking like some cruel joke. The $7,000 bonus I had worked overtime for vanished. It was a bright Saturday morning in Houston, and I had just made coffee. My plan was simple: use the bonus to finally put a down payment on the studio equipment I'd been dreaming about for years. Then a notification popped up from my brother, Trey. "Thanks for covering the pre-order, bro. I'll pay you back next month." Pre-order? My heart sank. I opened my banking alerts. Wire transfer to Gadget Galaxy Incorporated, $6,889.76. He used my bonus for his dream. I stood frozen in the sunlight spilling across the kitchen counter. My hand clenched around the coffee mug. That was the moment I knew this wasn't going to end the way he thought it would. My name is Malik Jordan. I'm 28, born and raised in Houston, Texas. I work as a systems analyst for a healthcare firm. It's not glamorous, but it pays well, especially when I grind overtime. And trust me, I've been grinding since college. I come from a family that believes in appearances. My mom, Vanessa, always kept her nails done, and my dad, Reginald, believed that if you couldn't flex it, it didn't count. That mindset carried down to my brother Trey, who was the golden child since he was old enough to kick a football. Trey was charismatic, reckless, and always found a way to land on his feet. I was the quiet one, the responsible one, the one who never needed help and so never got it. When I was 12, my dad bought Trey a new Xbox for getting a C average. I got a used book on coding for getting straight A's. That pattern didn't change. Even as adults, Trey would make impulsive decisions, quitting jobs, starting weird side hustles, buying expensive sneakers on credit, and every time he hit a wall, someone bailed him out. Usually me. The thing is, I didn't mind at first. I believed in family. I believed in helping when I could. And when I landed my current job, I promised myself I'd still be generous. We rise together, I used to say. But there's a difference between rising together and being someone's doormat. Let me take you back to how much that bonus meant to me. For as long as I can remember, I've loved music, not just listening, but building it. Beats, samples, sound design. I taught myself music production with free software on a busted laptop during college. When I wasn't working or studying, I was locked in my dorm room mixing tracks through dollar store headphones. That passion carried into adulthood. Every spare minute and every spare dollar went toward building my home studio. I had a long wish list, an MPC Live 2, a pair of Yamaha HS8 studio monitors, and most of all, the Moog Matriarch synth, a beast of an analog instrument with a sound that can make your soul float. I wasn't buying this stuff on a whim. I was saving. Every month, $300 went into a dedicated account. It had taken me 3 years to get close to the amount I needed. That annual bonus was the final piece. I stayed late for 2 months to qualify for it. Gave up holidays. Skipped out on trips. No one saw that part. Least of all Trey. Trey is 31. He works in marketing, which means he bounces from gig to gig, usually overpromising and underdelivering. But somehow people still eat it up. He's got that kind of smile, the kind that makes you forget he just lied to your face. He always had a new scheme. 1 month he was selling NFTs, the next he was consulting a startup that made luxury dog collars. The latest obsession? Tech gadgets. High-end gaming setups, smart home gear, rare collectibles. His dream was to launch a review channel for gadgets, but he never stuck to it long enough to build an audience. A few months before the incident, he'd been raving about this new gadget, the Sentinel VR rig, a limited edition, all-in-one VR setup that sold out instantly. "It's gonna be a game changer," he said. "Only a few hundred units in the world. If I can get one, I'll have the top review on YouTube." I half listened. I was too tired from work to care. A few weeks before my bonus hit, my grandma, Miss Lottie, came by to visit. She's my dad's mother, and the only person in the family who really sees me. We sat on the back porch drinking sweet tea, Texas summer in full swing. "You're quiet, Malik," she said. "That means you're carrying something." I shrugged. "Just work. Saving up for something big." She smiled. You always saving. You ever spend for yourself? Not yet. She leaned in. Don't let loyalty drain you dry. Especially not for someone who wouldn't cross a puddle for you. I looked at her. She added, You think Trey'd do the same for you? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. My bonus hit on a Friday morning. I checked the account on my break at work. $7,000 exactly. I smiled. Finally. I'd already bookmarked every item I needed. I even had a cart ready. But by Saturday morning, the money was gone. Trey had logged into my banking portal, the same one he helped me set up when I moved into my new apartment 2 years ago. I never changed the password. Rookie mistake. He wired the money directly to a supplier under his own name, and then had the nerve to text me like we were partners in this. Appreciate you, man. This is gonna blow up. I was numb. He'd done shady things before, borrowed without asking, accidentally used my card at the gas station. But this was something else. This was deliberate theft. I called him. He didn't answer. He called back 4 hours later like nothing had happened. Yo, bro. You see the rig? Thing's a beast. Trey, that was my bonus. Pause. Come on, you know I'm good for it. I'll flip this thing in no time, we'll both eat. There was no we. There never had been. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just said, all right, and hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Grandma Lottie's voice. Don't let loyalty drain you dry. He thought he won. But I had something he didn't, patience. And a plan. I waited exactly 2 weeks. I said nothing. No threats. No emotional pleas. Not even a passive-aggressive text. That's what threw Trey off the most. He was used to my silence meaning forgiveness. He didn't realize this time, silence meant strategy. During those 2 weeks, I watched him flaunt the Sentinel VR rig on social media. Instagram stories, TikToks, flashy thumbnails for his barely followed YouTube channel. He did unboxing videos, setup vlogs, even a teaser for an upcoming exclusive review. He'd finally committed to something with my money. What he didn't know, what he couldn't imagine, was that I'd been quietly documenting everything. I started by locking down my bank account and changing every password I ever had. Then I downloaded the bank transaction logs, flagged the unauthorized wire transfer, and initiated a formal dispute. Since the account was in my name and the money had been transferred without my consent, the fraud team opened a case immediately. But I didn't stop there. I gathered screenshots of Trey's texts, especially the one where he said, "Thanks for covering the pre-order." A clear admission. I had video clips of him unboxing the VR rig, showing the exact model number and packaging that matched the supplier listed on my account transfer. Then came the fun part. I reached out to Gadget Galaxy Incorporated, the company Trey had bought it from. After a little back and forth, and proof of the account it was paid from, they confirmed the unit hadn't been shipped yet due to stock delay. That's when I struck. I explained to the supplier that the order was placed through unauthorized use of my account. I sent them proof, a copy of the filed fraud report, and even my own government ID to confirm identity. After 48 hours of verification, they agreed to cancel Trey's order and issue a store credit to me. The full value, $6,889.76. I didn't blink. I immediately placed a new order under my name for the exact same Sentinel VR rig. Same specs. Same edition. Only now it belonged to me. When the package arrived at my apartment 3 days later, I signed with a grin and wheeled the massive box into my living room. I didn't post about it. Didn't tell anyone. Just set it up and admired it quietly, like an artist staring at a blank canvas. But I had one last thing to do. You see, Trey had been hyping up his exclusive launch review for the Sentinel rig. According to his schedule, he was planning a live stream on Saturday night, promising his followers, all 317 of them, a full walkthrough. He thought his unit was arriving that Friday. He had no idea it had been rerouted to me. Saturday afternoon, I texted him for the first time in days. Malik, you still doing that live stream tonight? Trey, hell yeah. This rig's gonna change my whole channel. You'll see. I waited 5 minutes. Then I sent one image. It was a photo of the Sentinel VR rig, fully set up in my apartment, powered on with my name on a post-it stuck to the headset. Under it, I typed, "Looks even better in person, doesn't it?" The typing bubble blinked and blinked, then disappeared. 3 minutes passed. Then he called. I answered on the second ring. "Hey." "What the hell, Malik?" "You tell me," I said, leaning back on my couch. "You used my login, stole my bonus, and lied about it. I just reclaimed what was mine." "You cancel my order?" "No," I said slowly, savoring it. "I canceled an order made with stolen money. Then I used my refund, to buy the same item." "Man, you petty as hell." "I'm prepared as hell." He was breathing heavy, his ego bruised deeper than he'd expected. "You really gonna do this to your own brother?" he asked. That was the moment it hit me. He still didn't get it. "You did this to yourself, Trey." I just stopped covering for it. He cursed me out for a full 2 minutes. Said I was spiteful, jealous, small-minded. Claimed I sabotaged his career. But I didn't argue. I just let him burn out like a dying match. Then I said calmly, "If you still want the rig, it's available. Market price. Let me know." He hung up. I stared at the screen. I wasn't angry. I wasn't shaking. I was peaceful. For the first time in years, I had reclaimed control over the one boundary I never enforced: respect. Later that night, I did something small, but significant. I started recording my own demo video for the VR rig. Not for revenge. Not even for followers. For me. I'd been so focused on working, on supporting others, that I never allowed myself to build something for myself. As I adjusted the camera angle and checked the mic levels, I remembered a line Grandma Lottie once said. "Sometimes your silence ain't peace. It's a holding cell." Not anymore. The silence lasted 3 days. Then came the eruption. It started with a group text. Trey created a chat titled "Family Emergency, Read Now," and added our parents, me, and our cousin Bria. "Trey, Malik stole something that was meant for me. This isn't okay." Me. "Correction. I took back what was mine. You stole it first." "Trey, you're twisting things. That bonus was going to waste. I just acted on it." That word, waste, hit like a slap. As if my dreams didn't count because they weren't loud or flashy like his. As if years of sacrifice meant nothing because I didn't parade them around. Then Mom chimed in. "Mom, Vanessa, boys, this isn't the place. Can't we talk like adults?" "Trey." I try to talk, Mom. "Malik went behind my back and sabotaged me. He knew I had plans for that VR system. Me. And I had plans for that bonus. He stole the money. I reported it, legally. I did everything by the book." Later that night, I got a call from Dad. "Malik, come on. You two always bicker, but this? You're making it bigger than it needs to be." "Dad," I said, voice steady. "He accessed my account without permission. That's theft."
He sighed.
"Well, maybe. But he's your brother. And I'm your son. Do I matter less because I'm not dramatic about it?" He didn't answer. That's when I realized they always expected me to bend. Because I didn't yell. Because I didn't threaten. Because I never made noise. They mistook quiet for compliance. The next morning, Trey showed up at my apartment. I didn't invite him. He banged on the door until I opened it. He wore sunglasses, sweats, and that familiar grin that always tried to charm its way out of consequences. "Let's talk," he said, stepping in like he owned the place. I didn't move. "Talk fast." He looked around and saw the Sentinel VR rig set up in my studio corner. His expression shifted from smug to sour. "You really gonna keep that, huh?" "I paid for it. With money I used first." I stared at him. "With my money." He waved a hand. "Bro, it's not that deep. We've always shared stuff. What's mine is yours, what's yours. You take." He blinked. "You've been doing it since we were kids," I said, stepping forward. "The shoes, the cash, the attention, the credit. And every time I let it go. But not anymore." "Oh wow," he said, clapping slowly. "So now I'm the villain, huh? The evil brother who ruined your perfect little life." I laughed bitterly. Perfect? You think working 12-hour shifts, living frugal, saving every dollar is perfect. He turned serious. You think you're better than me now?
No.
I know I respect people's boundaries. Big difference. Then came the classic guilt trip. You know Mom's upset, right? She's saying you're tearing the family apart. No, I replied. I'm refusing to keep it broken. There's a difference. That line stopped him cold. Later that evening, I got a message from Bria, our cousin. She was on the group text but had stayed silent. Bria, hey, just wanted to say I saw everything. And you were right. I called her. She admitted she'd seen this dynamic for years. Trey taking, the family excusing. Honestly, I used to think you didn't care because you never fought back. I cared, I said. I just never wanted to make it worse. Well, you didn't make it worse this time, she said. You just finally said no. She paused. Also, Trey tried to borrow money from me last week. Told me you'd ruined his big break. That stung, but it also clarified something. Trey never wanted to grow. He just wanted to keep pulling others down so he could feel taller. The final confrontation came at Sunday dinner. Mom insisted we all come. No drama, she said. Just a meal. We'll talk it out. The moment I walked in, I could feel the tension. Trey sat with arms folded, eyes narrowed. Dad kept checking his phone. Bria gave me a small nod from across the table. Halfway through the meal, Mom brought it up. I think we all need to remember that family comes before material things, she said. We've always supported each other, even if mistakes were made. I put my fork down. With respect, Mom, support doesn't mean letting someone steal from you. Malik, she warned. No, I said firmly. Let's be clear. Trey stole from me. I gave the family every chance to acknowledge that. You didn't. You should have come to us first. Would it have changed anything? Silence. I stood up. I'm not asking anyone to pick sides. I'm just telling you mine. I looked directly at Trey. You owe me $7,000, and I expect it back, starting next month. I'll be sending a payment plan.
He scoffed.
You really gonna take it that far? You already did. I turned to leave. Where are you going? Dad asked. To live a life where my dignity isn't optional. I walked out that door, not because I wanted to be distant, but because for the first time, I wasn't afraid of what would happen if I chose myself. Trey's voice echoed through the house the moment he got home. Dre? Yo, I got an alert. Did you buy the VR drone kit from Aerotech? I was sitting on the couch, casually sipping from my glass of sweet tea, pretending not to notice the anxiety rising in his tone. His footsteps were heavy, fast, anxious. He stormed into the living room, eyes wide. Dude, you bought my drone. I raised an eyebrow. Your drone? He froze. I mean, the one I was saving for. Why would you do that? Oh, kind of like how you thought it was okay to borrow my bonus to pre-order it for yourself? I said calmly, but each word hit like a gavel. Trey's mouth opened, but nothing came out. I found the transaction. You didn't even try to hide it. You used my account, Trey. I was gonna pay you back.
No.
You weren't. I interrupted. You were gonna fly your little toy around, post some Instagram videos, and forget all about the fact that you stole from your own brother. The silence sat heavy between us. And now, I said, grabbing the Aerotech box from behind the couch and placing it on the coffee table, I own your dream. The exact drone. Top-tier specs. Everything you ever wanted. It's mine now. His eyes locked onto the box, filled with silent agony. That's petty, he said weakly. No, I replied, standing. That's called a lesson. You took something valuable from me. I just showed you what it feels like.
Trey didn't speak.
He just stared at the drone, his fantasy now boxed and branded with my name on the receipt. And for the first time in a long time, he looked small. The drone sat untouched on the shelf for weeks. Trey avoided it like it radiated guilt, and maybe it did. Every time he passed by it, I could feel the weight in the air, unspoken tension, regret, maybe even shame. And, to be honest, I didn't fly it either. It wasn't about the drone. It was about the principle. One evening, while I was finishing up some mixing work in my room, Trey knocked. That was rare in itself. He usually just barged in like he owned the place. But this time he waited. Quiet. Humble. I opened the door and leaned against the frame. "Hey," he mumbled, eyes down. "You got a sec?" I nodded slowly and stepped aside. He glanced around my room, the modest setup, the equipment I still hadn't upgraded. I could see the guilt hit him again. "I was a jerk," he said bluntly. "And I've been thinking about what you said. I know I crossed a line. I didn't just take your money. I took your time, your trust. I knew what that bonus meant to you." I stayed quiet. He needed to say it all. "I started working extra shifts," he added, "trying to pay you back. I didn't want to come to you until I had something real to show. I've got $2,800 so far, and I'll have the rest soon." I finally spoke. "You didn't have to wait to pay me back to apologize, Trey. I didn't need your money. I needed your honesty." He nodded, looking like someone who had finally tasted accountability. "You still flying that thing?" he asked, jerking his chin toward the drone box on the shelf. "Haven't even opened it," I replied. Silence again. "Then maybe we could open it together?" I considered it. Maybe he deserved that much. We unboxed the drone that night like two kids on Christmas morning. We laughed, argued over the instructions, and nearly crashed it into the neighbor's mailbox. But in that moment, it wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about starting over. That drone? It became a reminder of the line that had been crossed, and the bond that somehow, against all odds, had survived it. Sometimes justice isn't about punishment. Sometimes it's about the moment someone finally realizes they were wrong and chooses to make it right.